Welcome to class 4 of TCS and QT Rapid Revision series. Today we are going to discuss questions on allegations and mixture, ratio and proportion, and shares, questions on clocks and dates. So without any delay, let us start with our first question. So in this question, let us read the question first. A can contains a mixture of two liquids, A and B, in the ratio of 7:5. When 9 liters of mixture are drawn off and the can is filled with B, the ratio of A and B becomes 7:9. How many liters of liquid A was by contained by the can initially? So what we have here is that quantity of A divided by quantity of B initially is in the ratio of 7/5. So that is given here. So you can say that quantity of A is 7x liters and quantity of B is 5x liters. Now that we have done that, now let us see here. 9 liters of the mixture are drawn off and the can is filled with B. So in this particular scenario, what will be the quantity of A? Initially, the quantity of A was 7x, and out of this 7x quantity, 9 liter was drawn off of the solution. So 9 into 7 by 12 quantity of A was drawn off. Fine. So this is your A. Now quantity of B will be initially in the can that was 5x amount of liquid, and out of this 5x, 9 into 5 by 12 amount was drawn off. And after drawing this off, 9 liter of quantity B was added into the can. So this is the final quantity of A, the final quantity of B. And we know that the ratio between the final quantity of A and final quantity of B is 7/9. So we can write this equation as 7x minus 9 into 7 by 12 divided by 5x minus 9 into 5 divided by 12 plus 9, and this is equal to 7/9. And from this particular equation we have to solve for x. So when we are going to solve for x, let us simplify this one. This will become 3 and this will become 4. This will become 3 and this will become 4. So after this simplification, we will have this will become 28x minus this will be 21 by 4, and in the next step this will be 20x minus 15 plus 36 by 4, and that will be equal to 7/9. This 4 and this 4 will be cancelled out. So the final equation will become 28x minus 21 divided by 20x plus 21 equal to 7/9. So we can just solve this equation, and after we solve this equation, we will get we will take 9 here and we will do like this, that is 9 into 28x minus 21 is equal to 7 by 20x plus 21. And if we simplify this particular equation, you can do it on your own. So we are going to get 112x equal to 16 into 21. Once we have this one, let us try to simplify. So x is equal to 16 into 21 divided by 112. Now 112 can be written as 16 into 21 divided by 7 into 1 and 16. Okay, fine. So this 16 and this 16 will be cancelled out. 7 and 3 will be done. And so the final value for x will be equal to 3. Now that we have found the value for x, you can say that the quantity of A is 7 into 3, that is 21 liter, and quantity of B will be 5 into 3, that is of 15 liter. So in the question they have asked what is the final quantity of liquid A. So the final quantity of liquid A will be an option C, that is 21 liter. So I hope this was clear to you. Now let us go to another question. I'm going to solve the questions very fast and very rapidly because this is a rapid revision series. So if you want to look into the theory, you can look into my previous NQT 15 days cracker series. In there, I have discussed all the theories in depth. So now let us look into another question. How many kilograms of sugar costing rupees 9 per kg must be mixed with 27 kg of sugar costing 7 per kg, so there may be a gain of 10% by selling the mixture at 9.24 per kg. So we are mixing one variety of sugar, that is 9 per kg, and we are mixing another variety of sugar, that is 7 per kg, and then we are getting a mixture. The mixture is sold at 10% profit, and 10% profit of that mixture gives us 9.24 rupees per kg. So we have to find the cost of the mixture. So the cost of the mixture is CP into the 10% of the cost price is 110 divided by 100 is equal to 9.24. So I will cancel 1 0 here, I will cancel 1 0 here, and I'm going to write CP is equal to 924 divided by 100, and this will be equal to 10 divided by 11. 1 0 cancel, 1 0 cancel, and 11 and this thing cancel. So we are going to get 8 and 4. So the cost of the mixture will be 8.4 rupees per kg. So 9 per kg is mixed with 7 per kg to get a mixture costing rupees 8.4 kg. 8.4 per kg. So applying the rules of alligations, we will have 1.4 here and we will have 0.6 here. Okay, if I'm not wrong, this is A and this is B. So the final ratio in which they must be mixed is quantity of A divided by quantity of B will be equal to 1 4 1.4 divided by 0.6. And now we already know the quantity of B. So quantity of B is 7 per kg and quantity of A is 9 per kg. 7 per kg is 27 kg of sugar. So this will become x divided by 27. X is the quantity of A. So we can find x from here. So how we can find? there is a 1 point in the numerator and there is 1 point in the denominator. So this will become 14 divided by 6 into 27 is equal to x. So this will give us x is equal to 14 into 27 divided by 6. So this will be 2, this will be 9, this will be 1, and this will be 7. So this gives us x equal to 63 kg. So we have to mix 63 kg of sugar costing rupees 9 per kg with 27 kg of sugar costing 7 per kg, so that we can gain a 10% profit by selling the mixture at 9.24 per kg. So the answer is 63 kg. So I hope this question was clear to you. Now let us go to another question. So this is again a question of your percentage, mixture, allegation, and everything together. A container contains 40 liter of milk. From this container, 4 liter of milk was taken out and was replaced by water. We contain 40 liter of milk, and out of this 40 liter, 4 liter of milk was taken out and replaced by water. This process was repeated 2 times. So in total, the process was repeated, or this process was done 3 times. Fine. This is a very important part. This process was repeated further, means 2 more times was repeated. So 1 time was already done and other 2 times. So total 3 times this process was repeated. How much milk is now contained in the container? So there is a formula here that you should remember. Final quantity is equal to A 1 minus x by A to the power n. Fine. And what is A here? A is the initial quantity, and x here final quantity. This is x is replacement quantity, and n is the number of operations performed. Number of operation. Now, from the question, let us try to guess each and every variable. So the container contains 40 liter of milk. So the initial quantity is 40 liter. From this container, 4 liter of milk was taken out. So the replacement quantity is 4 liter. And this process was repeated 3 times. So the value of n is 3. Now they are asking how much milk is now contained in the container. So we have to find the final quantity. So to find the final quantity, I will put the values in this respective equation. So we will have 40 and then 1 minus 4 by 40 to the power 3, because this process was repeated 3 times. And after this simplification, we are going to get 40 into 9 by 10 whole cube. How? This will become 1 by 10, and 1 minus 1 by 10 is 9 by 10. So as to find this final value, what we have to do? We have to write 40 into 9 cube divided by 10 cube. That means it is 3 zeros. Now I have told you to memorize all the cube root of numbers till 20. So 9 cube gives us 40 into 729 divided by 1000. So this 0 is cancelled, this 0 is cancelled, and 4 into 9 is 36, 4 into 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, carry 1, 7, 4 is 28, so this is 29, and there is two zeros in the denominator, so this will become 29.16 liters. So this is the final quantity of milk that is there in the container right now. So I hope you can do these kinds of mixture questions. Now let us look into another question. We have a jar full of whiskey containing 40% alcohol. A part of this whiskey was replaced by 19% alcohol. Fine. What now? And now the percentage of alcohol was found to be 26%. The quantity of whiskey replaced is. So let us assume one thing. We have two qualities of whiskey. Quality A contain 40% alcohol and quality B contains 19% alcohol. And quality A and quality B, one containing 40% alcohol and another containing 19% alcohol, is mixed with each other to get another quality of wine that contains 26% of alcohol. Now, what is the ratio in which they are mixed? So to find the ratio, I'm just going to subtract 19 from 26. That is going to give us 7. And I'm going to subtract 40 by 26. That is going to give us 14. So the quantity of A in the mixture is 7 and the quantity of B in the mixture is 14. That means it is 1 by 2. So in the final mixture, one part is quantity A and one part is quantity B. So if we have a can like this, one part is quantity A and two part is quantity B. This is one part and this is two part. And what do we know? We know that this initially this can contain full 40% alcohol, but some amount was replaced. So this was the amount that was replaced. That is quantity B was replaced. Now let us find how much was quantity B. So you can say that quantity B is 2 by 3. So the final answer will be 2 by 3. Understood? So now let us go through this question once. We have a jar full of whiskey containing 40% alcohol. So the first type of quality of alcohol is 40% alcohol. Second type of quality of alcohol is 19% alcohol. They are mixed with each other to get an whiskey containing 26% of alcohol. So in the final quantity, we have quantity A and quantity B in the ratio of 1 is to 2. So that means two part of quantity B was mixed with one part of quantity A. So that means this part was actually replaced. And to find out how much part was replaced, we have to find the ratio. So out of total 3 parts, 2 part of them is quantity B. Now they might add something in the question. They might add that, say suppose the can has volume of 30 liter. Then you have to tell how much quantity B was replaced. So you know that quantity B is 2/3 of the total quantity. So what is 2/3 of 30 liter? 2/3 of 30 liter is 20 liter. So you should say in that particular scenario that 20 liter of quantity A was replaced by quantity B. So I hope this question was clear to you. Now let us go to another question. This is another interesting question. In what ratio must water be mixed with milk to gain 16% on selling the mixture at cost price? The milkman is selling the milk at the cost price, but while selling the milk at cost price, he is gaining 16%. How he is gaining 16%? By mixing milk with water. Let us assume one thing. Let us assume one thing, that the cost price of pure milk is 100 rupees. I can assume anything, but for the sake of simplicity, I am assuming that the cost price of milk is 100 rupees. Now the milkman is selling the mixture, not pure milk, mind you. The milkman is selling the mixture also at 100 rupees. Fine. And when he is selling the mixture as 100 rupees, he is gaining a 16% profit. So let us find out what is the cost price of the mixture. What will be the cost price of mixture? The cost price of mixture will be, that is CP, and 16% profit on the cost price gives us 100%, 100 rupees. So this will be 100 into 100 divided by 116, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so let us try to simplify this particular situation. Let us try to simplify this one. So what we are going to get is that there is one little thing missing in the question. Actually, this term will be 16 2 by 3. Actually, you can do this question using this 16% only, but then our options won't match. Fine. So the profit earned is 16 2 by 3. So I will just recalibrate my answers. So I will just remove this thing. So the profit is 16 2 by 3. Fine. So if the profit is 16 2 by 3, it can be simplified and written as 50 by 3 percentage. So now let us find the CP of the mixture. CP into profit of 50 by 3 percentage. Profit of 50 by 3 percentage means 100 plus 50 by 3 divided by 100 is equal to, I can say that it is 100, because I have assumed that the cost price or the selling price is 100 rupees. That is equal to the cost price of the milk. Now let us try to simplify this one. So CP will be, this will be 300. 300 plus 50 will be 350, and that is going to be divided by 300 here. 1010 will be cancelled, so this will be 100. So CP is equal to 100 into 6 by 7. So this is the cost price of the mixture. Now let us come to the situation. So let us assume that the cost price of milk is 100, cost price of water is 0, and we are mixing milk with water to get a mixture costing 100 into 6 by 7, and we have to find the ratio of it. So the ratio will be, this will be your 100 into 6 by 7, and this will be your 100 into 1 by 7. So what will be the ratio? What ratio must water be mixed? So we have to find the ratio of water to milk. So water is 100 into 1 by 7, and milk is milk is 100 into 6 by 7. So we can eliminate 6 from both of this one, and we can eliminate 100 also. So water by milk is in the ratio of 1 by 6. That means 1 part is water as 6 part is milk. So the final answer is 1 by 6 ratio. So you have to be very careful, but because most of the students will find the ratio of milk to water and they will mark this option and go on to the next question. And in TCS NQT, you don't have any options to go back to a question and revise that particular question. Fine. So you have to be very careful. Read the question first, pay attention to each of the details, then only mark your correct option. So now let us go to another question. 8 liters of milk is drawn from a cask full of wine and then filled with water. This operation is performed 3 more times. That means total 4 times. This is one time and this is one time. So total 4 times was performed. The ratio of quantity of wine now left in the cask to that of water is 16 is to 65. How much wine did the cask hold originally? So now what do we know is that let us assume one thing. We know we have to use this formula, that is final quantity equal to mm, a 1 minus x by a to the power n. Now we have to find out all the various meaning. So x is equal to 8, that is given in the question. We have to find a, that is our initial quantity, and the value of n is 4 because it is 3 more times. And when it is 3 more times, that means one time it is performed here, and after this one time 3 more times is performed. So the total number of times the operation is performed is 4. Okay, and now we have to find this one. Now, what is the final quantity of wine? Let us assume that the volume of this cask is X liters. So the final quantity of wine will be 16 is to 5 is the ratio of wine to water. So final quantity will be 16 divided by 16 plus 65, and this will be multiplied to x. So the final quantity of wine will be 16 divided by 81 x. This is your final quantity. Initially, the wine X quantity or X liter of wine was there. That was your pure quality. Okay. So if this was your pure quality, so the next equation will be F quantity can also be expressed as X, that was your pure initial quantity, minus X means your replacement quantity, that is 8, divided by x, and this operation was performed 4 times. This is equation number 2. Equation number 1 expresses your final quantity. Expression number 2 expresses also your final quantity. So we can equate expression number 1 with expression number 2. So we will get x 1 by 8 by x to the power 4 is equal to 16x divided by 81. This x is cancelled. So this will be 1 minus 8 by x to the power 4 is equal to 16 by 81 can be written by 16 can be written as 2 to the power 4, and 81 can be written as 3 to the power 4. So we can write 16 by 81 as 2 by 3 to the power of 4. Now that we have done with this, now let us square root, or like find the root to the power fourth from the both side, and we will get 1 minus 8 by x is equal to 2 by 3. So once we find this one, we will get x minus 8. X minus 8, 3 is equal to 2x. So that gives us 3x minus 24 equal to 2x. 2x will come here and 24 will go there. So this will be x is equal to 24. So the initial quantity of wine that was present in the cask was of 24 liters. So I hope this was clear to you. So this is a very important formula. Please mark this formula in your copy so that you can refer to this formula again and again. So what is A here? A is your initial quantity, initial pure quantity, and X is the quantity replaced by another quantity. This is an important formula. Please note it down. So now let us go to another question, that is question number 7. A merchant has 1000 kg of sugar, out of which he sells at 8% profit and rest at 18% profit. He gains 14% on the whole. The quantity sold at 18% profit is. So this merchant has 1000 kg of sugar and he sells X at 8% profit, and he sells 1000 minus X at 18% profit, and overall he earns 14% profit on 1000 kgs. So overall he is earning 14% on total 1000 kgs. Now let us assume one thing. Assume that CP of 1 kg of rice is 100 per kg. We can assume that easily. Now if the cost price is 100 per kg, 8% profit on CP will be 108. That will be your SP. That is 8% on CP is 108 rupees SP. 18% profit on CP is 118 rupees on SP, and 14% on CP is how much? It is 114 rupees on your SP. So now you have to see in what ratio they are mixed with each other. You can actually do this in two ways. Let us see in the first way. Let us imagine that I am selling X amount of sugar at 8% of profit. So I'm selling X into 108 rupees, and I'm selling the rest of the sugar, that is 100 minus X into 118 at 1000 into 114. So I am selling some of the rice as 8% profit sugar, and I am selling some of the sugar at 18% profit, and I'm earning overall 14% profit on the whole. So we can simplify this equation, and after simplifying this, it is 100 and so simplifying this, we are going to get 108x plus 1000 into 108, 18 minus 118x is equal to 1000 into 114. So we are going to write this will be 108 minus 118 will be minus 10x, and then this will be minus 4 into 1000. So minus minus will be cancelled from both sides, So X will be equal to 400. So the quantity sold at 18% profit will be 600 kgs. Fine. So now let us try another thing. We are taking a mixture. We are taking a mixture that is like 108 rupees. That is your 8% profit, and we are taking another quality of sugar that is of 18% profit. That means the selling price is 118, and we are mixing them to get a cumulative profit of 114. So what should be our ratio? This will give us 4, and this will give us, I think this is going to give us 4, and this is going to give us 6. Fine. So the ratio of 8% and 18% is 4 by 6. And then we have to find the total quantity for this 18% sugar. So this will be your 6 divided by 4 plus 6, that is 10. And the quantity is 1000 kg. That gives us 600 kg. So this is another shortcut way of doing this thing. So you can try both of this thing, but I would prefer to go with the solution that you actually understand. Do not memorize the solution, or else you won't be able to replicate the answer in the final examination. So now let us look into this question. This was an easy question that we have already done. We have also discussed this table, and we have also discussed this thing. And what was the day on 15th August 1947? So in this particular situations, what do? We write 1947, and we divide 1947 into two parts. One part is 1946, another part is 1947. 1946 is again divided into two parts, that is 1900, and another part is 46. So 1900 can be written as your 1600 plus 300. So 1600 has 0 odd days. 300 years have 1 odd days. That gives us total of 1 odd days. Now let us try for this 46 years. 46 divided by 4 gives us quotient of 11. That means in 46 years, 11 leap years were there, and if 11 leap years are there, that means total 35 non-leap year will be there. So 11 leap years and 35 non-leap year. And for every leap year, we are going to get 2 odd days. So this will be 11 into 2 plus 35 into 1. That gives us 22 plus 35. So that gives us 57. Now 57 divided by 7, the remainder is, so what will be the remainder? Remainder will be 7 7s are 49, 7 7s are 49, so the remainder will be your 6. If I am not wrong, the remainder will be 6. Okay, just let me check once. Okay, now just 7 8 are 56, and this is 57, so the remainder will be 1. So for 46, you are getting a remainder of 1. Now let us try for 1947. That means 15th August. So in January, we have 31 days. 1947 is not a leap year. So in February, we will have 28 days. And March, we will have 31 days. And for April, we will have again 30 days. For May, we will have 31 days. And for And for June, we will have 30 days. For July, we will have 31 days. And for August 15, we will have 15 days. So 31 days, 28, 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, 15. And if we add everything, we are going to get 227. And 227 divided by 7 gives a remainder of 3. Fine. So this gives a remainder of 3. So in 1900 it is 1 remainder, 1946 this is 1, and in 1947 is 3. So the total number of odd days is 3 plus 1, that gives us 5. And what does this 5 signifies? 0 means Sunday, 1 means Monday, 2 means Tuesday, 3 means Wednesday, 4 means your Thursday, and 5 means your Friday, and 6 means your Saturday, and 7 means it's Sunday. So 5, we have got 5 here. So the final result or the result of this will be Friday. So 15th August 1947 was our Friday. So we have another question, that is this question. We can check out this question. What is the day on 17th June 1998? So 1998 can again be written in 1997 and 1998. 1997 can be written as 1900 and 97. So 1900 gives us 1 odd days. 97 means we have like we can think like how many leap years we can have in 1997 years. We are going to have 24 leap years and 73 non-leap years. So for each of the leap year, I'm going to multiply with 2, and each of the non-leap year I'm going to multiply by 1. So we are going to get 121, and if we divide 121 by 7, we get a remainder of 2. Fine. And for 1998, that is 17th June, so 31 for January, 28 for February, 31 for March, 30 for April, 31 for May, and 17 for June. And if we add all these numbers, we are going to get 168. And if 168 is divided by 7, the remainder is 0. So the total number of odd days is 1 plus 2 plus 0, that gives us 3. And 3 means, in this previous slides we can see that 3 means Wednesday. So the final result will be your Wednesday. Fine. So I would suggest that you can go through my 15 days TCS NQT series, that is also available in the another playlist, and you can understand the concept behind it very well. So those of you know, or those of you already know this concept, I have done this question in a rapid way because in the final examination you have to attempt this question as fast as possible. Now let us go to question number 9. So today is Monday, and after 61 days it will be. So now let us imagine today is Monday, and we can say that today is 0th day. So next Monday will be 7 days after 7 days, and the another Monday will be after 14 days. Another Monday will be on 21 days, so on and so forth. So the 63rd day will be Monday. So they are asking me what will be the day on 61 days after this Monday. So 63 or 63rd day is Monday. So 62nd will be your Sunday, and 61st will be your Saturday. So this is your final result. Okay. So now let us go to this question. We will try to solve this fast, and we have already done this question. So what will be the time between 5:30 and 6 will the hands of a clock at right angle? So you have to find a time between 5:30 and 6. During that time, the hands of the clock will be at right angle. That means 90 degree. So now let us find the angle between hour hand and minute hand at 5:30 at first. So what is the angle inscribed by the hour hand? So this is 5 plus 5 past 30 minutes. So that is 5 plus 30 divided by 60. So that gives us 5 plus 1 by 2, and that will give us 11 by 2 hours. Every hour, the hour hand is inscribing 360 degree divided by 12 degree. 360 degree divided by 12. So the total angle formed by the hour hand will be 111 divided by 2 into 360 divided by 12 gives us 30 degree. So this will be 165 degree. So the angle made by the hour hand is 165 degree with 12 o'clock. So this is your 165 degree. Okay. So now that we have found out this one, let us find out the value inscribed by the minute hand. So minute hand has inscribed 30 minutes, and every minute the minute hand is inscribing 360 divided by 60 minute. That gives us 180 degree. 180 degree means, let me draw with another color. That means your minute hand is somewhere around here, and the angle is 180 degree, and this angle is 165 degree, and we have to find this angle. We have to find this angle. So what will be this one? If this is your angle 1 and if this is your angle 2, so the angle inscribed will be A2 minus A1. That gives us 180 degree minus 165 degree. That gives us total of 15 degree. Fine. And we have to find the time at which the clocks will be at right angles. So we are currently at 15 degree and we want to go to 90 degree. So 90 minus 15 degree, that means we are left with 75 degree. So we have yet to inscribe 75 degree angle. Now let us think. Every minute, your minute hand is inscribing 6 degree, and every minute your hour hand is inscribing 1 by 60 into 30. That means half a degree. So the relative speed between the minute hand and hour hand is 6 minus half. Why minus? Because the hour hand and the minute hand are traveling in the same direction. So the relative speed is 6 minus half. That means 5 1 by 2. So that gives us 11 by 2 degree. So what is the total minutes that will require to inscribe 75 degree? So 75 into 11 by 2 gives us total of 13 4 13 7 by 11. You can just check it once. So now I have done a little bit of mistake here. So I will just go back again. So we have to inscribe 75 degree. We have to inscribe 75 degree, and the relative speed is 11 by 2 degree per minute. So this will be 75 into 2 by 11. That gives us 150 by 11. That again gives us 13.7 by 11. Now 13.7 by 11 minutes requires after 5:30 p.m. so that the angles between the clock is 90 degree. So uh, what will be the final time? Final time will be 5:30 p.m. plus 13.7 by 11 minutes. That gives us 5:43 7 by 11. So 5 past 43 minutes 7 by 11 gives us this thing. So this is your final result. So what is the strategy of solving this question? First, you have to find an angle between the minute hand and the hour hand, and you can find the angle between the minute hand and hour hand using these formulas. Once you have found out this one, remember this particular thing. This is angle per minute. So that gives us 11 by 2 degree per minute, and you have to find the total angle yet to be inscribed. Let it be x. And you can just use the speed distance by time formula. So you have to go x distance with a speed of 11 by 2 degree per minute. So this will give you the time in minute that you require to inscribe that angle. So I hope this question was clear to you. You can just go through my previous video and clear all of your concepts. Now let us look into the last question. Aman started a business investing rupees 70,000. Rakhi joined him after 6 months with an investment of 1 lakh 5,000, and Sagar joined him with rupees 1.4 lakhs after 6 months. If the total profit earned after 3 years is 43,000, then what is Rakhi's share? So we have to remember one thing. So now let us find uh, the amount invested and the time that money was invested for. So we have Aman here. Aman have invested 70,000 rupees, that I can write 70k, and he has invested that for 3 years because he was there when the business started. So the total time he invested that money was for 36 months. Then Rakhi joined. Rakhi joined with 1 lakh 5,000. So I can write 105k, and she joined after 6 months. So she joined at 30 months. That means he invested his money for 30 months. And after Rakhi, Sagar joined and he invested 1.4 lakhs. That means 140k. So that gives uh, Sagar 24 months time of investment time. Now the share of profit. The share of profit depends on the amount of money invested and the time for which that money was invested. So let us find out the amount into time. So amount of time gives us 70k into 36 and 15k into 30 and 140k into 24. So let us find the ratio of this one. So we can just ignore this k because k means 1000. So we have 70 into 36 is to, then we have 105 into 30 is to, then we have 140 into 2 into 24. So this will be 10, this will be 15, and this will be 20 when we divide these numbers by 7. This will be 6, and this will be 5, and this will be your 4. So what do we have? We have 10 into 6 is to, we have 15 is to 5 is to, then we have 20 into 4. So this will be 2, this will be 3, and this will be 4. So the final ratio of profit between Aman, Rakhi, and Sagar will be 12 is to 15 is to 16. Now that we have found out this one, what will be the Rakhi's share if the profit is 43,000? So the proportion or the amount of profit that Rakhi is going to earn will be, Rakhi's share is 15 of the total share, that is 12 plus 15 plus 16 of your total 43,000. So that gives us 15 divided by 43 into 43,000. So this is cancelled, this is cancelled, so that becomes 1,000. So the profit earned by Rakhi is 15,000, and this is our final result. So option number B is our final result. So I hope this question was clear to you. So I think I have covered all the topics that I wanted to cover today. So tomorrow is the last day of rapid revision series, because Saturday you are going to have your TCS NQT. I hope you have received your admit cards and hall ticket and whatever details you need to appear for the examination. So tomorrow I will concentrate on solving some previous year's TCS NQT questions. So see you tomorrow. And for the materials, you can visit www.campusprep.com, and you can find all the old materials which you can use for your revision. You can also join my Telegram channel, and you can communicate with me directly and ask me your doubts, and I will clear your doubts. You can also join our Facebook page and Instagram page for regular updates. So thank you for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow with some more previous year TCS NQT questions, and all the best for your preparation. I hope you do very well. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.